Hey guys, welcome back. It's Missy, and today we're going to talk about empaths and highly sensitive people, HSP. So if those damn soldiers coming home and the kids run towards them gets you every time, you soft. No, I'm just kidding. You may likely be sensitive. Welcome to the club. So what's the difference between highly sensitive people and empaths? Are they the same? No, they're not the same. You can be both or one or the other. So what being a highly sensitive person means is that you are very sensitive to stimuli. So you may be very sensitive to others' energies. You may be very sensitive to light, sound, medicines, touch. Like you may be very aware of how you're feeling. It just means that you're highly sensitive and you get stimulated a lot easier than someone else. Now, an empath means that you feel the emotions of others and you take it on as if it's your own emotions. So you can feel people's emotions very strongly, and you then may notice yourself feeling that emotion. I am highly sensitive and I also am an empath. I got double whammy. So I feel people's emotions very strongly. I can walk in a room and I'll be like, when did I get mad? Why am I angry? And I also am very sensitive to light and sound. Like I can get very exhausted very easily from light. I prefer outdoor light than indoor light. Remember those damn school yellow lights? Those were the worst. And it is a blessing and it can be a curse to be very sensitive and to feel people's emotions very strongly. So let's get into the signs that you are highly sensitive or an empath. These are traits that you're usually born with. But as an empath, it could be something that is nurtured more based on your environment, good or bad. So if you have very empathetic parents, then you may also, your empathetic side may also be nurtured. And if you have abusive parents and you're an empath, it could be reinforced by being around that negative environment, and it reinforces your ability to feel their emotions and take it on as if they're your own. So the first sign that you're an empath is, like I said, you feel emotions as if they are your own. So when you walk into a room, you may feel everyone's emotions. You can read how everyone's feeling, you feel it. When someone is expressing how they feel, you will immediately feel it as if you are the one that got in the fight, or you the one that is experiencing that depression, or you are the one that just got exciting news. It is something that you will feel deeply, and it can be hard to pinpoint what is your emotion, what are other people's emotions. That is why it's important that you are able to dictate, like, okay, what is my emotion and what emotions am I taking on? And you will need boundaries to put up and say, okay, this is how they are feeling, and I have to allow them to feel that way, and I don't necessarily need to take it on. They are on their journey and I'm on mine. I can still sympathize and empathize with them, but I need to make sure that I don't take it on so strongly that it's affecting my ability to live. The next thing is that violent or dramatic things you see, news, the movies, things you read, it affects you in such a negative way. So there's some people where they can watch these things and they are able to be like, okay, that's just what's happening, it doesn't affect me. And then there are people that are very sensitive where when they see these things, they feel it. Like if they see someone getting punched, they feel like they just got punched. It can really affect you for a long period of time. Like for me, I saw that movie, what was that movie? About cystic fibrosis. It affected me for a week. I was so devastated for the people that were sick. I don't remember what it's called. But I personally stay away from those things because I know how much it will affect me, and it can really affect the way I am for a while. So you may need to put boundaries up and not be around that stuff so much. The next thing, you are the first one to help someone in need. And this can be confused with codependency, but the difference is with codependency is that you need to do it. You can't stop yourself. When you're an empath, it hurts you so much that you're trying to relieve the pain rather than look for the validation. As a codependent, you're looking for the validation. There's a big difference between sympathizing and feeling sorry that this person's going through something, and empathizing, where you feel like you are actually in the person's shoes. And that's what happens as an empath. You feel like you're in the person's shoes, so you wouldn't want yourself to be in that situation. So you want to do whatever you can to help that person make sure that they don't feel that way. So you may go out of your way to be that shoulder to cry on, to do that favor, to help that person any way that you would want to be helped. You are the one giving your time and energy. You make sacrifices for the ones in need. Your intuition is strong and it's usually right. So I talk a lot about intuition in my Trust Yourself video. And I talk about how your intuition is that gut feeling where you feel like something's right or you feel like something's really off. You may get a really butterfly feeling when something feels good, and you will get maybe a sunken feeling when you feel like something's off. Your body will tell you what it is. And as an empath, since you are so connected to others, and as a highly sensitive person, you can feel things so strongly, you will notice that your intuition will also be very strong, and you can feel a lot more strong than maybe other people. The next one, you will get sympathy pains. This happens to me so much. Whenever my clients are telling me oh yeah, I'm dealing with headaches, I will immediately get a headache. I always immediately, when someone tells me they're feeling a certain way, I will immediately get that symptom. So you may notice when someone is sick or someone is explaining how they're feeling about a certain way, you will also get those pains in that area. You are very sensitive to the ones around you. So you may also take on physically how other people feel. This also is in reference to yawning. There's a study that says if you yawn every time you see someone else yawn, you are more likely to be empathetic than someone who doesn't always. Oh my God, I'm talking about yawning now. I feel like, see? Oh my God. The next thing, you have a healing nature to you. A lot of the times, empaths will pick careers like nurses, doctors, counselors, life coaches, or literal healers. You just have this urge to want to heal the wounds of others. In someone's time of need, you know the words to say to bring them comfort. And you may just have a very healing, positive energy that people want to be around. The next thing, you feel burned out easily. So you may notice a lot of the times empaths and highly sensitive people, they're more likely to get autoimmune disease or health conditions because of the fact that they get drained so much easier, and also possibly because of their traumatic past that also could affect you having conditions, not things you're born with, but things that have happened in your childhood. They can also cause you to be sick like that. But being someone who's sensitive or an empath, it takes a lot of energy out of you. You may feel like the world is on your shoulders and that you have to take care of so many people because you feel all of these emotions, you feel all these energies, you feel so much that it feels like a burden to have to take care of all of these things. And when you do help these people, it can be very exhausting because you already are extremely stimulated to begin with. And then when you go and help people, you become more stimulated, which then causes a crash. So there's normal people and then there's sensitive people where they're stimulated, they get stimulated a lot easier. So then you become more stimulated, and then when you're more stimulated from helping those people or feeling those energies, being around lights and all of those things, you then crash. Whereas a normal person, they may, get a little stimulated, but they're able to go back to normal a lot easier. Yours is stimulated, more stimulated, crash. So the emotions can be very overwhelming, and it can cause you to burn out, as well as you constantly giving and trying to take care of others. That will also cause that burnout. So you are constantly giving your energy to others. You don't always maybe feel like you have the energy for yourself. The next thing is you can be an overthinker. So the cerebrum is the outer part of your brain, and it controls your learning, your emotions, as well as your thinking, your hearing, and your senses. So what happens is you see and you hear things and you feel things. So it first goes through that part of your brain. So then when it reaches the part of your brain where you process and you think, you already are so stimulated by all the things around you that it then causes you to overthink every single situation, as well as be anxious about everything, because your fight or flight is already on heightened. Your fight or flight or freeze is already heightened because you already are so aware of every single thing you feel and hear. That is just one of the reasons why you may be an overthinker, as well as other things. The shirt makes me look like a cute tablecloth or whatever, but it's really hard to move. I feel like I'm like a robot. The next thing, you are told you are too sensitive. Now here's the thing, I think it's negative and it's also a realization when someone tells you you're too sensitive. It's all about context, because sometimes there are moments when we are maybe reacting in such a way that it makes people uncomfortable, and sometimes we need to learn how to handle it better. And then there are times when people use the term "you're too sensitive" in such a negative way where it's abusive. So I think it's all about context. I'm someone where I don't think it's always 100% bad to be like, "You're too sensitive." The thing is, like, okay, I am too sensitive. Like, that's who I am. That's something you need to accept about yourself. You may be very sensitive, and that's okay. That's the thing that you need to understand, that it's okay to be too sensitive. So what may happen is that you may take things too personally. You may get hurt easier. It will be harder to take negative feedback, and negative emotions may linger a lot longer. The reason why people may tell you you're too sensitive is because they don't know how to handle your overwhelming emotions. So if you've ever heard you're too sensitive, it may have then caused you to think there's something wrong with you, when there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing being wrong with too sensitive. It's just maybe that you need to be careful of how you react around certain people, because they don't know how to handle your sensitivity. And it's doing it more in a way to protect yourself. Because the thing is, it's important to be able to hear negative feedback and not let it affect you so strongly that you are miserable. So that's why it's important to recognize your reactions, because you want people close to you to be able to express themselves, but you also want them to do it in a respectful way. So it's learning how to pinpoint, how do I take this information in and also recognize like it's really hurtful, and how do I allow people to tell me this information? These are all things to protect yourself. So if you're around people that are more abusive towards you and they tell you you're too sensitive, make sure that you don't take what they're saying into consideration, because they're just using it as a bullying tactic. So you more want to say like, okay, yeah, I am sensitive. I just want to be careful with the way that I react to certain things, so that way I don't deal with people hurting me. The next thing, which is major, you are more likely to attract toxic and manipulative people and narcissists. Empaths are literally the opposite of narcissists. So narcissists struggle to get in touch with their empathy, and empaths are so in touch with their empathy. So narcissists will see that and they'll want to take advantage of that, because they know that you will give them the things that they want, which is to heal their bruised ego, to manipulate you, to take advantage of your caring side, to control you in any sort of way. They see you as there's a good supply. You actually are the perfect supply because of your ability to feel for them, and that's what they want. Empaths see narcissists as people that they need to take care of and heal, because empaths see when they do that love bombing, they see, oh, there's potential hope, I can help them. Narcissists will thrive off an empath's need to take care of them. So narcissists will be on their best behavior at first. They will make themselves look like a good person. They're very empathetic, that they care so much, and that they are a loving, good individual. And that's where empaths get tricked, because you think, oh, it's someone that's good. But as time goes on, they will start to gaslight you, they will start to manipulate you, they'll start to be controlling, but excuse it as that they are caring for you. And so the empath is already tricked. They've seen that good side, so they hold on to that good side, say, no, there's still hope, like I can help them, I can take care of them, they need me. But you will eventually come to realize that it was all a mask. You may start to look things up online because something doesn't entirely feel right and you can't quite put your finger on it, and you may be looking towards fixing yourself, and you will come to realize that it's not you and they are actually manipulating and gaslighting you. So it's important as an empath to understand that you can't always help and fix everybody, and to recognize the signs when you are potentially involved with a narcissist or a manipulative person. The next thing is that you may give too much. So sometimes you may notice yourself having a hard time saying no, because you feel bad for that other person and you want to make sure that they are okay. So you may give time, money, your energy, emotional support. It may be too much, and that's also another reason why you may get drained a lot easier. So sometimes you may accidentally feel like you're giving out of an empty wagon because you just love people so much and you want to take care of everyone, and it makes you feel bad at the thought of someone suffering. The next thing is that you have heightened senses. Like I mentioned earlier, sounds, tastes, smells, everything, they may be very intense. And so smells may affect you so strongly that you physically may get sick. Like something may be very strong smelling and you'll get a headache or your stomach will feel sick. This also can cause your nervous system to be stimulated, which then causes it to go into overdrive, which then is a feedback loop to heighten your senses, because when your fight or flight goes off, it heightens your senses. So you'll be stimulated, your nervous system will go off, and then you will have heightened senses. So a physical symptom you can have is feeling wired and tired. That's something I get so much. I feel like electricity is running through my body. I will feel so wired and jittery, but also feel so fatigued and exhausted. And that's your nervous system being in overdrive. And it'll also make you very anxious, which is the next thing. Anxiety, you may deal with a lot of anxiety, kind of similar with the overthinking. You also are very prone to anxiety because you have more intense emotion and also all the stimulation, as well as dealing with everyone else's emotions. It can cause you to be more prone to anxiety than someone else. Dealing with all the fears of the world, feeling like the world's on your shoulders, feeling that pressure like you have to take care of everyone, it can cause a lot of anxiety. You may suddenly have overwhelming emotions in public. So when you go in a room, like I'd mentioned, you may get very overwhelmed with all of the feelings that you are feeling, and it can cause you to be very burnt out from dealing with all of that. So you may suddenly feel sad, angry, upset, and you're not sure, like, why am I feeling this way? It's because you're taking on the emotions of other people. The next thing is you may feel replenished in nature. I'm sorry, and the last frame I just checked, and there's this huge ball aura. I don't even know what it is, this rainbow. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but hopefully that doesn't happen again. The next thing is you feel replenished in nature. So natural smells, being out in the sun, being around in the beach, just being in the ground, you feel like energized. You feel more one with the earth because you are able to just feel the energy of the earth rather than feeling everyone's emotions. So you may find yourself feeling very calmed by birds, water, leaves blowing, even maybe thunderstorms. You will notice you will feel more replenished when you're around nature, when you're outside. It's a way that you recharge. And the last thing is that you can understand where others are coming from. So you are able to put yourself in other people's shoes and you're able to see where they're coming from. You are able to kind of see why people have reacted the way they have, or that you are able to see from a different perspective outside of your perspective. And so it makes it a lot easier for you to be able to talk to others and put yourself in their shoes because of this skill. So as an empath and as a highly sensitive person, it's really important that you understand that this is the way you are. You are someone that's sensitive, you are someone that is more stimulated, and you are someone that feels people's emotions. So you need to do things differently to protect yourself because of these things. And like I mentioned, it's a blessing and it can also be a curse. And we'll go more into that in the future about how to deal with being an empath and someone who's highly sensitive. So what do you guys think? Are you an empath or someone that's highly sensitive? Leave it all in the comments below. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye guys. And today we're gonna talk about, what are we talking about? I got double whammy. Oh, that was really awkward. There's a study that says why can't I talk? My sister always plays this game where she starts yawning and I immediately start yawning. I'm always yawning when I see someone yawning. We're gonna do this all day. Oh no.